What's happening, my Jacked family? Coach Scott here, JackedAfter40.com. Today's video, I'm going to be sharing 5 things you need to know to get below 10% body fat naturally. I'm going to be sharing a lot of my own personal experiences as someone who has lost 50 pounds of fat 9 years ago, then went through several years of bulking and cutting, where each cutting phase I'd have to drop about 20 pounds of fat, to recent years where all I've done is gone through mini cuts in order to remain between 8 and 12% body fat. Beginning of this year, I went through a mini cut, and at the end of that mini cut, my Tanita scale, a commercial grade Tanita scale here at home, was consistently measuring me between 7 and 8% body fat. I booked an appointment at a facility that has a high-end Staiku 3D body scanner, and that measured me at 7.4% body fat. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing what it takes to get below 10% body fat and all those things that you need to know. If you enjoy this video, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. You want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. More than anything, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your personal experiences. And just so we're clear, with this video, we're talking about aiming for that 8 to 10% body fat range. It's a whole different ball game once you start aiming for that 6, 7% body fat or lower than that, competition shredded. That's when you start running into a whole bunch of those hormonal and psychological challenges that you often hear competitors face towards the end of their cutting phase. The first thing you need to know about getting below 10% body fat naturally is that we all look different at a certain body fat percentage. How I look at 8% body fat is going to be different than how you look at 8% body fat. It all depends on how our fat is distributed throughout our body. For example, the last place that I tend to burn fat is love handles and glutes. Your last place that you burn fat may be your thighs. So that's going to create a different appearance at a certain body fat percentage. Another great example is if you are someone who carries body fat more viscerally, internally, like around the organs. If that's the case, you may be at the same body fat percentage. I have more of my fat on the surface, above my muscles, below my muscles and my skin. It's going to give the appearance that I look fatter, even though we have the exact same overall body fat percentage. It's just a lot of yours is internally underneath the muscles. So those two things play a key role in how we look at a certain body fat percentage. So don't judge someone based on, they say they're 8% body fat and they look different from someone else. We're all going to look different at a certain body fat percentage. The second thing you need to know about getting below 10% body fat naturally is that all of these body fat measuring tools have room for error. When you're going with those home versions, those home body fat scales, those probably have the greatest margin for error. Even if you're getting your body fat measured by a trainer at the gym with calipers, there's lots of room for error with that, depending on how well trained they are, making sure that they're hitting the exact same site each and every time. With a lot of these BIA scales, the bioelectrical impedance analysis, like these home body fat scales that you're stepping on, a lot of it's going to depend on your hydration level. Even with the higher end scales that you go, that 3D body scanner that I was on, hydration can play a factor in that. Even the DEXA scans, hydration can play a factor with that. So no matter how high end you are going, there's still going to be room for error. You could go on that DEXA scan one day, go on the next day, and it give you 2 different readings. So you got to take these measurements with a grain of salt. It's also like going with these first 2 points here, these first 2 things you need to know about getting below 10% body fat. It's a big reason why I just prefer to kind of focus on going for a certain look rather than a certain number, because numbers, as you can see, there's room for error with all of this stuff. I'd rather just aim for a look rather than a certain body fat percentage. The third thing you need to know about getting below 10% body fat naturally is it harder? This is something that I often see discussed across social media, and in some cases, I'll hear people say that they don't want to get below 10% body fat because it's too hard. And I disagree with that to an extent. I think in some cases, it's easier to get below 10% body fat. We're going to get to that in a moment. Based on my own personal experiences, I found the most challenging time to lose weight was in the beginning. It took me 10 years to finally commit to losing that 50 pounds. I would lose a bit, fall off the wagon, lose a bit, fall off the wagon. So to me, losing that first 10 to 20 pounds, getting even down to even close to 15% body fat was the hardest for me to ever experience throughout this transformation process. So, and then reflecting on all the bulking and cutting phases I've gone through, each cutting phase got easier and easier. Oftentimes it took me only about 12 weeks to drop that 20 pounds. And as tough as it is to go through a 3-month fat loss phase, each time you get to know what to expect. You become more experienced at it. You learn how to manage your hunger better. You learn to get your sleep in and manage stress better. You learn all those things that make the fat loss process a little bit easier on yourself. So experience is a big thing. And the duration of your cutting phase plays a huge role in how hard it is to get below 10% body fat. If you're starting at 20% body fat and trying to get to 8% body fat, towards the end of that cutting phase, you're gonna be mentally exhausted, you're gonna be physically exhausted from dieting. The longer you are in a caloric deficit, the more of a toll it's going to take on your body, hormonally speaking, and just physically speaking. You're just gonna be spent. You're gonna feel more exhausted towards the end of it. Whereas if you're starting at the beginning of a cutting phase at 12% body fat and only trying to get to 8% body fat, it's pretty darn effortless. It's really, you're looking at a 4 to 6 week mini cut at the most. Mentally, it's easier to prepare yourself for a 4 to 6 week fat loss phase. And it's done and over with pretty darn quick. And you're not in it that extended amount of time where your body's gonna experience any of those negative consequences hormonally or psychologically from dieting. For example, at the end of this recent mini cut, the same day I got that 3D body scan, I also got my blood work done, and it revealed that my testosterone was still in the healthy, normal range as a natural lifter at 44 years old. So that made me very happy, but a lot of it had to do with the kind of stress-free approach that I took. It was just a short duration, so psychologically, I knew it was gonna be done and over with quick. The deficit was moderate. I wasn't overly aggressive with anything, and I tapered things off towards the end. And this brings us to the fourth thing you need to know to get below 10% body fat naturally, and that is what it takes to get there. And really, getting what it takes to get below 10% body fat is basically the same as what it takes to get to 10% body fat. That is maintaining a caloric deficit, consuming an adequate amount of macronutrients, getting an adequate amount of sleep, managing your stress, and focusing on active recovery, doing cardio that promotes active recovery rather than cardio that will beat you down. I cover all of this in the free guide to Jacked After 40. There's a link down below in the description. Be sure to download that. It has all this information. The only difference between getting to 10% body fat and getting below 10% body fat is the rate of weight loss that I recommend. So when you're aiming to get to 10% body fat, I recommend that you aim for a rate of weight loss of 1% of your total body weight for the week. So if you weigh 200 pounds, I'd recommend aiming for losing 2 pounds per week. If you weigh 150 pounds, aim for losing 1.5 pounds per week. And then once you get close to that 10% body fat range, when you're really lean and you want to get leaner than that, get below 10% body fat, I recommend slowing that rate of weight loss down to 0.5% per week. So if you weigh 150 pounds, it would be aiming to lose 0.75 pounds per week. So under 0.75 pounds per week. If you're 200 pounds, you'd be aiming to lose 1 pound per week. So the reason for that in large part is you want to preserve your muscle mass. Once you start getting below 10% body fat, you are going to run the risk of losing some muscle mass in the process. And that is definitely something that we don't want to experience. So slowing that rate of weight loss down, it actually also makes this weight loss process, the fat loss process, easier. It's one of the reasons why I find going from 10% or 12% to 8% body fat is relatively easier, because the deficit is oftentimes smaller. And to use my recent mini cut as an example, I began by consuming 2,000 calories per day and then gradually bumped it up to 2,300 to 2,400 calories per day and slowed that fat loss process down to just over 0.5 pound per week. And the great thing about this is that it gets you closer and closer to maintenance, so it makes that transition to maintenance relatively easy. In regards to cardio, all I did is walk my dog Chief for 30 minutes, usually 2 times per day. So no jogging, no hard, tough cardio on my body. Just walking, which is great for active recovery, great for stress management, just great for my overall well-being. And then the weight training 5 times per week using the Jacked After 40 workout. So how I train, like I walk my dog twice a week, twice a day, all year, whether I'm losing weight, maintaining my weight or trying to build muscle. I weight train 5 days a week most of the year. So my weight training remains relatively the same. My activity remains the same. The only difference is that caloric deficit. I always focus on sleep and stress management no matter what, because those are two key factors whether you're trying to burn fat or build muscle. And the fifth thing you need to know about getting below 10% body fat naturally is, can you stay there? And the answer is absolutely hell yes you can. It's been 2 months since I have ended that mini cut. I have maintained my level of leanness. I am now up to 2,800 to 3,000 calories and feeling incredible. And the thing with me is that I eat exactly the same whether I am building muscle in maintenance mode or burning fat. I'm gonna be eating the exact same meals, it's just gonna be the portion sizes that change. And to me, that is a true lifestyle approach. You shouldn't be thinking to yourself, all right, now it's time to burn fat. What kind of magic diet do I need to go on? How do I need to really change things up? No, it's just changing the portion sizes that you are consuming. There are no magic bullets out there. I'm not taking any kind of magic supplements or anything like that to get me to burn that fat. Everything remains constant. It's just the portion sizes, the caloric target that I am aiming for, whether I'm going to be burning fat, building muscle, or maintaining my physique. So I've been holding around this 2,800 to 3,000 calories in this maintenance mode. Probably going to hold here for another month and then start pushing it up just a little bit at a time to maintain a nice gentle surplus while I build my physique and get more jacked after 40. And those are the 5 things you need to know to get below 10% body fat naturally. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that alert button so you're notified each time I upload a video. More than anything, I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, share your feedback, and before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. Hope you have yourself an absolutely amazing day. Catch you in the next video.